Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. Lucioball is back and it has a competitive mode. So this video is going to be your ultimate guide to Lucioball with tips and tricks showing you how to win more and climb that ladder. Special thanks for today's sponsor, TubeBuddy. I've been using it for almost 2 years and it's amazing. Custom templates, bulk editing, tag rankings, and a lot more. If you want to grow your channel, TubeBuddy can help. Click the link below to learn more. Alright, let's get started. Lucioball is a 3v3 game mode based on soccer. Each game lasts for 6 minutes. The only character you can use is Lucio, but a lot of his abilities have been changed. Lucio's normal left click has been replaced with what is basically his quick melee attack. It's just a punch. This will allow you to hit the ball at kind of a moderate speed. Lucio's alternate fire right click is still the sound wave. However, it will not work on other players in Lucioball. What it will do is make the ball move a lot farther and faster than if you had used a left click. Because of this, it has a 3-second cooldown. Soundwave also functions as a cone area of effect, so when you use it, you can hit a much larger area than you could normally with a left click. Here's a quick example of the difference between left click and right click. In Lucioball, crossfade is always locked on speed. Amp It Up functions very similar, as in it will make you move a lot faster. However, it only affects you. It does not affect your teammates. It's also on a 12-second cooldown. Your last ability is your ultimate, which has been drastically changed from the normal game. In Lucioball, your ultimate will cause you to move a lot faster. You can jump about 3 times as high, and your cooldown for Soundwave has been reduced from 3 seconds down to 1 second, allowing you to spam your right click a lot more. So when is the best time to use your ultimate? Well, if you're on offense, the best time is generally going to be when it's you versus only the enemy goalie. You can burn your ultimate and then overpower and just keep rapidly shooting until you get the ball in the net. On the opposite side, if you're on defense and you're in the goal, the best time to use it is to counteract this situation. So if you're the goalie, hold onto your ultimate until you're getting a lot of pressure and then burn it so that you can quickly get the ball out of the way. Hitting the ball isn't as simple as just aiming for where you want it to go. The direction and speed the ball is traveling, as well as where exactly you hit the ball, will determine where the ball actually goes. It's kind of like playing billiards or pool. You need to kind of figure out where the cue ball is going to hit the other ball in order to determine where that other ball is going to go. In order to limit that stuff as much as possible, you want to try to always have the ball directly between you and where you want the ball to go. And then you might have to adjust your aim slightly to the left or to the right in order to get the ball to actually fly straight and true. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can move the ball by simply running into it. You don't have to use a left or a right click in order to fire it far away. If you only need to move it a little bit, then simply bumping into the ball with your character might be enough. Whenever you're trying to pass the ball to a teammate, punching it with your left click is going to be your best option, because it's a moderately fast yet controlled way of moving the ball. However, if you're trying to shoot on the enemy goal or defending a shot on your goal, you're almost always going to want to use your right click. The only time you won't use your right click to shoot or defend is when it's on cooldown, in which case you fall back to your left click. So just remember, pass with left click, shoot and save with right click. If you're trying to score a goal, don't aim at ground level. You almost always want to aim up. This makes it a lot more difficult for the opposing goalie to actually defend against it. Even when a ball is moving very fast on the ground, it's still incredibly easy to defend. However, having a ball go through the air requires the goalie to jump at a very precise time, and this can be difficult. Of course, you can't aim too high, because then the ball will just bounce off the edge of the arena. So next up, we're going to go over the positions. But before that, I want to say that it's always a good idea for you to go into these games as a group of 3. It does mean you're going to be matched against other teams of group of 3, but the fact of the matter is, having teamwork and communication in this game mode can be very helpful. Being able to set up plays and call for passes is very strong, and since it's only 2 other people, it should be pretty easy for most everybody to get. Moving on to positions, there are basically 3 different positions in Lucioball. You have the forward, the mid, and the goalie. Now, having dedicated players in each of these positions is going to help you immensely. This is why queuing with a group can be so strong. So let's go through these positions. I'm going to start with the forward player. So this is a top-down view of the map for Lucioball. And this area, these zones right here, is where the forward player should be during the game. The main purpose of the forward player is to shoot on the opposing goal and to also interfere with the opposing goalie. Moving on to the mid player, this is the zone where he should be playing during the entire match. And his main purpose is to help the forward player shoot on the goal, to recover any shots that get deflected by the opposing goalie, to shoot those shots back in, and whenever the opposing team has the ball, the mid player needs to fall back and assist the goalie with defense. And the last position is goalie. This is the zone that he should be playing in, and of course the main purpose is to prevent the enemy team from scoring. For the goalie, positioning is extremely important. You always need to make sure that you are in between the ball and your net. Never give the enemy team a clear line of sight into your net. The ball must always need to pass through you in order to get to the net. And if that's the case, they will never score. The only time they're going to score is when you're not directly in that path. Another thing to keep in mind when you're playing goalie is where exactly should you be playing in the goal? Like, how far out should you be? Generally, you want to be behind this line right here. And the reason for that is because anytime the ball comes at you, if it's on the ground, you can easily stop it. But if it's in the air, you want to be able to wait until the ball starts arcing downward so that you can jump up and then knock it out. If you're too far forward, what ends up happening is the ball will actually go over your head and then into the net behind you. So play a little bit further back so that way that doesn't happen. And here's a quick example of what happens when a goalie leaves the net and all 3 of the team decide to play forward. Now, one of the best methods for scoring a goal is kind of like a 1-2 punch. Your forward player is going to take the ball and try to bring it up and score on the goal. If he doesn't, what's most likely going to happen is the goalie or the defenseman on the enemy team is going to knock away the ball and it's going to get deflected back toward the mid. That's when your mid player will recover the ball and fire on the goal using a right click in an upward arc. This is going to be very difficult for the defenders to deal with, and it's probably going to result in a goal more often than not. Alright, so let's switch it up. The opposing team is now on the offensive, and you have to defend. So first of all, your goalie needs to be in that spot that I said earlier, where he needs to make sure that he is in between the ball and the net at all times. Also, your mid player needs to fall back and help the goalie, because remember, they're probably going to have a forward that's trying to interfere with your goalie, and your mid player needs to try to compensate for that. Your forward player then needs to fall back to basically the middle of the field, because what's going to happen is after your goalie or your mid player kind of deflect the ball and kick it out, it's going to go back to the mid. And when that happens, your forward player needs to be the one that recovers it and then brings the ball over into the enemy territory. You don't want the opposing mid player to recover that ball and then try to shoot again on your net. One last thing on positions. What happens at the start of a game or after a goal when you're on that face-off situation? the game will switch the players around randomly, so your goalie might not actually be in the goal at the start of the round. And what you want to do in that case is just kind of play the position that you're given for at least a couple seconds until the situation has been controlled. Once that happens, then your goalie can speed boost back into the goal, and then your players can take their correct positions. Unfortunately, there's no way to kind of lock your position in, so you just have to kind of deal with it. Speaking of those face-off situations, what should you be doing? Well, kind of the default reaction is to use your speed boost, move towards the ball, and then try to right-click and boop it as far as you possibly can. Usually this is not a good idea though, because the other person is doing the same thing. So some of the things that you can do is you can approach the ball from kind of the side and then try to deflect it after the opposing player hits it. So they're going to speed boost into it, they're going to hit it, and then you hit it as well, but you hit it at an angle so that it goes into either the middle of the field or maybe it bounces off the wall and goes behind them, in which case you can then just quickly go past and then try to recover the ball and shoot it at the goal. Or another situation, which is kind of what I commonly like to do, is I will just kind of sit back and wait for them to hit it, and as soon as they hit it, I then stop it, control it, and then I can pass it to someone else on my team, because usually I'm playing the mid position. I'll pass it to my forward, or I'll then just shoot it into the goal. And if I can get a good line of sight and a good arc on the ball, then I might be able to score right off the bat. Next up, we're going to talk about the environmental stuff in this map. So the first are going to be the jump pads. Now, the jump pad is very important for the goalie because it allows you to deflect those shots that are going up high. But outside of the goalie areas, the other 4 jump pads really aren't that good. Sometimes you can use them defensively to try to deflect a ball that's coming in high, but for the most part, they're just not really that good, not really worth bothering with. The other part of the environment is the walls of the arena itself. You can slide on these walls and move very quickly. Now, if you use your speed boost, it goes even faster, and if you use your ultimate and the speed boost, it just goes absolutely crazy fast. So you can use the walls to get over to the opposing area to shoot on a barely defended goal, or you can use it the reverse to get back to your area to help your goalie and defend. And the last thing to talk about are the achievements. These are not gonna help you climb the ladder at all, but I figured I would throw them in anyway. So the first achievement is the Lucio hat trick. Score a goal, a save, and an assist in a game of Lucioball. The next one is safe hands. Score 3 saves in a row in Lucioball. And the last one is volley. Score a goal in Lucioball with a shot taken from at least 4 meters in the air. Now, there really isn't any major techniques or strategies that you need in order to get these achievements. By simply playing the game, you're probably gonna get all 3 pretty quickly. So there you have it, guys. I hope this helped you out. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because I'm always making videos with guides, tips and tricks, the latest in Overwatch news and events. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of it. Also, don't forget to check out my Discord server where you can join the community and find other players to group with. The link for that is in the description. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault. Also, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters for helping to make this all possible. If you'd like to see what kind of cool rewards you can get for supporting the channel, check the links on screen and down below.